F-A-N-A-T-I-C. Fanatic. I rep Christ till I D-I-E. Fanatic. I'm not
just finished up with the Fall Explosion Altered Minds tour. We got Lecrae, and he just dropped the gospel with us with the rap music and the Hotter Than Hell presentation of the cross of Jesus Christ. And we got a couple questions for Lecrae. You want to say hello to the camera here?
What's going on? How you doing? Lecrae, just bond serving the Lord Jesus and glad to serve. So, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Torch Urban Ministries representing Gainesville, Hall County wants to ask Lecrae, 80% of the people we minister to are fatherless, grown up in gangs and drugs, dropout rate in school, highest teen pregnancy in the country. So we want to ask Lecrae, what is his message to our youth in Hall County?
I think, you know, like anybody, like I could definitely relate just growing up in a circumstance that kind of felt hopeless. And when you feel a sense of hopelessness, your knee-jerk reaction or what you do is just kind of say, man, who cares? So you just kind of live your life like, man, who cares? You live on the edge, and you find father figures and family in the streets and gangs, and you find hope and just a way to get away from all that in drugs and alcohol. And I know because I did all those things. And you know what, at the end of the day, none of it ever really satisfies. For a little while it feels good, it feels like it's what you're looking for, but it's never really exactly what you're looking for. There's still a piece inside that feels empty, that you're missing something, and I know what that feels like as well. So I would just encourage people, you know, what we tend to do is when things feel hopeless and when we feel empty, we turn to power. Trying to be the biggest, baddest person we can be, take over and run the show. We turn to pleasure, whether that's drugs or women or parties, or we turn to possessions, and that's just trying to get as much as we possibly can, money, cars, so on and so forth. And none of those things ever really satisfy that emptiness that we're looking for, that hopelessness that's inside of us. You'll never have enough power. There's always going to be somebody more powerful than you, who's going to be bigger than you, and somebody may even take your life while you're trying to fight for power, trying to be the toughest dude out there or whatever. When it comes to pleasure, you know, there's never enough parties, there's never enough girls, and there's never enough drugs. You know, you can get high today, and you're not going to be able to get high off that same amount the next day. You need more and more and more, and it never seems to satisfy. It's always empty. And then if you talk about possessions, man, you just can never have enough stuff. If you think getting more stuff is going to satisfy you, it's wrong. Because if you ever wanted like a new pair of shoes and then you got them, a little while later that wasn't enough. You want the newest pair. Or if you got a new car, you want the newest car, anything like that. And so all those things never satisfy. There's a hopelessness in us, and that can only be solved by us surrendering our life to Jesus. He's the hope that we've been looking for. He's the satisfaction that we've been missing out on. And Christ is there to bring us real satisfaction, real joy, real hope. You may not be able to touch it or feel it, but you can experience it. And trust me, I have, and I pray that y'all would drop all those things that never bring you what you're really looking for and turn to Jesus.
All right, so that was question number one to the streets, but what we see there with Lecrae, dropping it not like it's hot, but dropping it because it's hot. This gospel message is powerful for our church. And in Gainesville, Hall County, we got a lot of rich, white, affluent churches, all kind of opportunity to reach out to 80,000 urban, Hispanic, multiracial groups, and it's not being done. What can you say to these churches to show them the opportunity that they have if they surrender to pour out the gospel to these streets?
Yeah, I think two things. One is, you know, as we begin to look at our country, it's becoming less and less Christian. Christianity is not the dominant belief system that we really operate under. Now we have Christendom, whereas people go to church on Sunday and they do all the Christian things, but their faith is not really Christian. And what we see is in the cities, more and more people start to say, man, I'm done with this Christian stuff, and they get more and more sexually promiscuous, more and more relative is whatever you say is good, more and more violent, and people begin to say, well, I'm not messing with those cities, it's too dangerous. I'm going to move out to the suburbs. And so Christians begin to click up in the suburbs, and where they don't have to deal with the issues in the city, and the cities waste away. And we've begun to draw back and not engage the city, where Jeremiah tells us to seek the peace of the city, and it will go well with you involved. So the whole picture is for us to not run away from the problems in the city, but to engage it and seek the peace of the city, because if we seek the peace of the city, it goes well for everybody. The city's on God's heart, and I think a lot of people don't realize that America's increasingly multi-ethnic. It's not majority white. It's increasingly multi-ethnic. It's increasingly multicultural. So there's all types of different backgrounds and cultures. And if we just continue to click up and only deal with people who look like us and talk like us and think like us, we're going to miss out on the opportunity to evangelize and bring the gospel in our own backyard. And that's when Islam and all type of other belief systems rise up, and we'll be looking like, you know, Europe in no time soon, no time flat. So I just encourage people to engage the city and engage different cultures and ethnic backgrounds.
Hey, we're going to get one more word here, a question from Lecrae. And what we got, folks, is this. Can anybody hear me in that video? Church, you hear me? Because Jesus called us to go out to the streets and lanes and the highways and hedges. And some of you church folk aren't going to hear what's the call. Now, I'm going to testify in Gainesville Middle School this year, the Big Red, we've seen about 230 kids saved in the public school. They're having Bible studies every morning. And what we just got Gainesville Middle School from Lecrae, I told you it was going to happen. We had some doxological detonations. We had some Christological combustion going on in here. And we're about to boast in the cross, you Gainesville Middle School. You students keep praying. We're going to get Lecrae up here because God's hand is on this. But finish up with a word to my students at Gainesville Middle School who are starving for the gospel, and they're hearing your music, they're catching the rhymes, but man, they're getting the good news.
Amen. Well, man, I just want to encourage all my young people at Gainesville High School, continue, you know, to seek the Lord. You know, if you're at a time in life where a lot of people will you know, tell you don't know much and act as if, you know, things don't matter, but you're thinking life does matter to you. You guys are the future. You guys are the people who can change the world. You literally can change the world. And God can and will use you. The Bible makes it clear we're His workmanship, created for the things that He's pre-planned. And so live to understand. If you know your God, you know yourself. If you know your God, you know your purpose. And you were created with a purpose. So continue to seek after Jesus if you want to know what life is really about. Don't let people count you out. It's not about your background, what your parents are like, what kind of money you have, or how old you are. God can use you. He used young people. God uses young people all throughout the scriptures. He made kings out of teenagers because He's doing the work. So He does entrust young people like yourselves to do incredible things for Him. But it's only if you trust in the cross of Jesus Christ, only if you pursue Him and let Him take control of your life, direct your paths, and life will make sense, and you will walk in the direction that God would have laid out for you. So seek Jesus. Don't play no games, man. This is real deal, real talk, talking Christ alone. And, you know, I wouldn't lie to you. I shoot it straight. All right? Much love.
All right, and that's Lecrae dropping it, not like it's hot, but because it's hot. We love you all back in Gainesville. God bless you.
I'm a F-A-N-A-T-I-C fanatic. I rep Christ till I D-I-E fanatic. I'm not extreme, I'm redeemed with faith to serve a God who's extremely great. I'm a fanatic. I'm a F-A-N-A-T-I-C fanatic. I rep Christ till I D-I-E fanatic. I'm not extreme, I'm redeemed with faith to serve a God who's extremely great. I'm a fanatic.